Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, my name is Victoria and we are currently doing 31 days of Halloween. So today's look is going to be a Queen of Hearts inspired look. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. But before we get started, I do want a little disclaimer for any of the Halloween videos that I do, or any videos that I do. Any inspiration that I find elsewhere, I will credit those people or person down in the description below. I will credit the person that I am directly inspired from. I've found that it will take a long time if I keep trying to find the original person. So if that person that I'm inspired from gets inspired by somebody else and that person is also inspired by somebody else, it's just gonna keep going until it's gonna take a while. So I've just decided to credit the person that I am directly getting inspiration from. If you want to give credit in the comments, if you see something that is very similar or anything like that, feel free to definitely let me know in the comments and I will edit the description to credit that person as well. Right, so without further ado, let's get started. So my face is completely free of anything right now and I am going to start with my eyebrows. I think I want them to be a little bit red. So I'm going to take some red face paint. I'm going to be using this palette pretty much for almost like every makeup look that I do, and it is the Mehron, I guess that's how you say it, makeup paint palette. This is the AQ, the Paradise makeup. Mine is so dirty, but we're making it work. I got mine off of Amazon and it will be linked in the description. My eyebrows are microbladed, so they are going to be kind of dark when I go in with that red, but that's okay because I don't mind a dark red eyebrow. So this palette is water activated, so I have like a little cup of water here with me and my brushes, and I also have like a little mixing paint palette that I will be using if I need to mix a color that I want. Okay, and I like the red that is in here. I think it's like a really good red. I'm not gonna make it any lighter or darker, so I'm just gonna take this red as it is. And the more water you use with this paint, the more thin it's gonna be, more runny. So I'm not taking a whole lot. And it's gonna be kind of messy. I am gonna like carve them with concealer. That's actually a pretty good red. My eyebrows are pretty dark and it covered it pretty well, so. Now I'm just going to start carving them out with some concealer. Definitely want them to be dry first though, because that red will smudge everywhere. I did do the top as well. I'm just gonna do the other side. Okay, I've finished carving out my eyebrows and now I've applied a base to my eyelids. So I'm gonna start off with some red eyeshadows. So I'm gonna be using the Morphe 39L Hit the Lights palette. But anyways, so I'm gonna be using these reds up here. My palette looks really, really bad. A lot of my older palettes, they look like they went through the ringer. So I'm gonna start off with the brightest red in here, which is this corner one. And I'm just using one of these brushes from the Anastasia palettes. These are one of my favorite brushes. I have like 1,000 of them. And if I ever forget to mention like a brush that I use, because I'm really, really bad at that, just like ask me in the comments and I will do my best to tell you which brush it is. Kind of slowly starting to blend that out. Okay, now going in with a clean blending brush. This is a Morphe 505. Now we are going to build in a darker red. I'm going to use the one right next to it, so this one here. We're looking pretty crazy right now, but we're just gonna roll with it. Now very carefully, because black eyeshadow is a nightmare when it gets everywhere. Very carefully, I'm gonna go just on the crease, and I think I might do a little bit on the outer corner. And I'm using a Precision Firm Blender brush. This is the E42 by Sigma. And I'm using the black that is in that same Hit the Lights palette. The black eyeshadow, always tap off the excess. Now taking a little bit of that second red, the deeper red, I'm gonna go right above that. Now I think I am gonna add some black on the outer corner. I'm not gonna take it as far out as I did the red, I don't think. And then I'm gonna cut my crease, and I think I wanna do like a gradient of silver. So like here will be like basically white in the inner corner, lighter silver, and then like a dark gray silver, and then I'll go into that black. And the brush that I use, it doesn't have a name on it. I think I looked it up and it was a Bare Minerals concealer brush. It's like this really tiny. And I think I want like the cut crease not to like go around it right here, but almost like go towards my nose. Okay, I think I'm gonna start with the inner corner, and for that, I'm gonna be using the new Glam Light Ice Cream Dream palette. This French vanilla shade is like a beautiful crystal white. Okay, now I am going to use some of these silvers from the new Natasha Denona Glam palette. I'm going to use this silver one here. Okay, now I'm going to take another silver from the Natasha Denona Glam palette. It's going to be this second shade here. Now going back in with that black. Now I'm going to take that same like white silver that I used on the inner corner. I'm going to use that to highlight my brow bone. So I'm going to do the other side really quick. So I'm going to do a winged liner, but before I do that, I actually want to add a little bit of like a pressed silver glitter on the silver gradient. And there is a pressed silver glitter in the Hit the Lights palette. It is this one right here. Now with an angled brush, I'm just going to clean up that black crease. Okay, now I'm going to do a winged liner and then clean up the outer corners. Okay, now I am going to do my foundation and contouring, but for my foundation, I'm going to use this foundation that is already kind of a little too light for me, but I'm gonna make it even lighter for me. So I'm gonna add a little bit of like this white paint from the paint palette, just because I want it to look very glowy and mask-like, if that makes sense. Okay, so I have some of this Stromboli shade from the NARS Soft Complete, which is a little bit light for me. And then I'm taking some of this white paint. I don't really care too much about getting the jaws of my cheek, or the jaws of my cheeks and my jaw, or just like the ends of my face, because that is going to actually be darkened up a bit. Okay, I pretty much don't need a concealer at this point, but just because I like to have one, I'm basically just gonna take some of that white paint. All right, now that I'm looking like I'm part of the Volturi, I'm going to set my face with this Becca setting powder. Before I do my contouring, I'm going to finish. So I've used these two and I'm going to take this darker one. I'm just kind of feathering it out with the smaller end of that Anastasia brush. Now I'm going to take a little bit of that black eyeshadow and go closer to the lash line, being very extra careful. We do not want any black fallout. And while I did want my eyebrows red, I don't think I want them like this bright of a red, so I'm gonna try to add a little bit of black just with an angled brush, just to kind of darken them up a little bit. Oh my god, especially with like how my hair is pulled back right now, if you gave me red contacts, I really would look like Dakota Fanning in Twilight. Now I'm going to contour, and I want it to be very dramatic. So I'm going to use like this really dark bronzer. It's a powder bronzer from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is the shade Mahogany. I'm gonna use my sponge to just kind of blend it a little bit better. Now we're gonna do blush. And I'm going to use the blush that comes in the Cinnamon Bear from Too Faced. Now I'm starting to look like Jigsaw. And I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills collaboration highlight palette with Nicole Guerrero. Is that how you say it? And I'm going to be using a mix between the shade Kitty Cat and Forever Lit. Okay, now this is the hardest part. I'm going to try to draw the best heart I can around my entire face. I'm just gonna go in lightly with a brow pencil. This one is from NYX. Now I think that's like as good as like I'm gonna really get it. Now I'm very, very carefully going to start outlining that with a black liquid liner. It's okay if some of the line is a little bit thicker in some areas. We are going to kind of like shade it in and kind of make it look a little bit more 3D, so we do have some wiggle room. So I'm going to take a little bit of a black eyeshadow and start okay, now I'm going to take like a dark brown eyeshadow and lightly start blending into that black eyeshadow. I'm not gonna go too far out, but I do want it to go a little bit further than what it is right now. I'm using that same Hit the Lights palette, and I'm gonna be using this. Take that same Anastasia bronzer, that mahogany shade, and just kind of contour and darken up the outer areas of my face. Now I'm gonna start drawing like the little threads that are attaching like this mask. I'm kind of doing them like at an angle. I'm not doing them directly across from each other. As I get closer to the bottom of the heart, they are going to be more directly across from each other. Okay, now we're going to start connecting the dots. And we are gonna do it kind of like little arcs. Okay, now we're going to be playing around with some fake blood, and I have the Ben Nye Dark Blood Aged and Oxidized. It's this little bottle here. A little bit goes a long way. And I have the cap. I'm just going to pour a little bit into the cap. And I'm taking a tiny little detailed brush. And this is Jeffree Star and Morphe one. It's the JS14. You just want one that you can also like stipple with. And now I'm gonna first do the dots or the holes. Okay, now I'm gonna go and add blood along the edge of the mask. Okay, and now I think I want to draw little red hearts right here and here. So I'm going to use some of that red paint, and I'm just going to use like this brush that actually came with the set. It's kind of like almost like a lip brush. And I think I'm gonna outline it with a black liner. I'm going to take the Cinnamon Bear Melted Matte Lipstick that came with the Cinnamon Bear set, but I'm also going to have like a little bit of black paint kind of ready, because I am going to darken up this red a little bit, and I'm going to do that by adding some black paint while it's still wet. Now I'm gonna finally finish it off with some lashes, and I'm going to add a red wig as well, and I'll be right back. And this is the finished Queen of Hearts look. I'm super happy with how it came out. The heart isn't, I don't think it's like 100% perfect, just because my face and my features kind of shape it a little bit weird, if that makes sense. But I think for the most part I'm pretty happy with it and how it turned out. I made this little crown just like out of a basic deck of cards. and I will link the inspiration for the crown below, as well as this look. It is a look based off of a look that I did 2 years ago, but that look was also based off of a look. So I will link both of those in the description so you guys can kind of see. Let me know what you guys think. So far, I'm having a lot of fun doing all of these fun different looks. And yeah, that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.